Hello, welcome to my channel. I am going to react to some frugal videos. I've been a self-proclaimed frugal, thrifty, cheap person for most of my adult life. My husband and I started out extremely broke, and I kind of have just kept a lot of those habits. There are times that I am not frugal, but it's because I've been frugal that I'm able to spend. And so I thought it would be fun to react to some videos.
Tastes like strawberries on a summer evening, and it sounds just like a song. I want more berries and that summer feeling. It's so wonderful and warm. Breathe me in, breathe me.
I don't have any problem with this hack at all because honestly, have you looked at like how much sugar is in some of these things? I used to do this all the time with, especially when my kids were really little, because they would react so badly to sugar.
Frugal and spend less than $200 a month on groceries. So these are some of the best tips that I keep in mind every time I go food shopping to pass along to you and for you to stop being an idiot. This one makes me want to rip my hair out. Please, for the love of God, do not buy anything pre-cut. The extra amount of money you are spending is outrageous. It's stupid.
The only reason why I would buy anything pre-cut is if I was in a rush and I was going to bring something to an event and I ran out of time. But honestly, I agree with this because if you just have a good knife and Tupperware, you could do this yourself.
Stupid crap is $7, but if you just take a couple steps over to the actual pineapple, it costs less than $3. Brad.
I will say though that I feel the reason why people buy pre-cut is because a lot of times with like pineapples or something, they don't know how to tell when they're ripe. I think that there's like this safety and like they look at it and they could see that it's good. Probably the same reason why people buy like guacamole, because when you cut into an avocado, there's no guarantee, but you can see the product in guacamole. When you're buying it within the skin, if you don't know how to tell when it's ripe or not, it would be, I guess, hard to tell. We drive one beat up car. We don't buy new clothes. We don't buy new furniture. We don't spend money on those sort of things. But in return, we're able to do so much more. And when people look at us and they say, why don't you just go buy this X, Y, whatever the issue is, there's always a financial way to like solve it, right? Just go buy the thing instead of just taking a few extra minutes or try to solve it creatively. The issue that comes up from that is that you just end up spending a lot. We really don't spend that much money in general. If we can find a way to thrift it or fix it ourselves or whatever, we'll do that instead. You get these sort of results. You're able to take better vacations. You just have like a freedom to spend where you want to. And then having material possessions isn't as important to me. My kids are young and they tear through my stuff anyway, so it's not really valuable to me to make sure that my kids are being kind to my furniture. I would rather have secondhand furniture that they could beat up while they're still young, and then we could still take vacations and do other fun things. I could see why it's important to other people. It's just not a value to me.
Things I do as a frugal millionaire according to real comments I've gotten. Wearing nice brands like Patagonia or North Face. People seem to think that being frugal means being cheap or that you can't own nice things, but it's about being mindful of what you buy. And personally, I enjoy having a high quality coat when I live in the rainy, windy, and cold Pacific Northwest. People also ask,
I want to say something to that. I have a nice brand North Face jacket, but I got it for $40 at Goodwill. It was like basically brand new. There's no rips, there's no tears. It didn't even look like it'd been worn. Like maybe someone had gotten it and grew out of it, or it was gifted to them, it was the wrong size, or maybe they had more than one jacket. I don't know, but this jacket was in pristine shape, and I went to one of the Goodwill, it's like a boutique. You can get those in bigger cities, and I found this jacket, and it's one of those ones with like an outer shell and an inner shell. It's a really nice one for $40, and my kids, they each have winter jackets. Another one is North Face. I think I got that one for $15 at a thrift store, and again, it didn't have any smudges, no stains, no tears. It was in perfect condition. And I think another one is a Burton, which I think is a snowboarding brand, and it's like really nice down. And I think I got that one for maybe $20. So you can have nice brands and you don't have to spend money like that. So just because you see a frugal person with nicer things doesn't mean that they bought that thing off the shelf or at full price. They could have also waited for summer and bought it when it was on discount, and then they're just pulling it out the following winter. So there's ways to have nice brands without paying the full ticket price. But also, if you know that it's a brand you like and you know that it's one that's going to last and the reviews and everything says it's going to last, I don't see anything wrong with paying full retail price if you can't find it secondhand or you don't want to shop secondhand. I just mean there's nothing wrong with buying something that's nicer quality, that's more expensive, but you also don't have to. There's many places like ThreadUp and that where you can find some of these nicer brand things for a way more affordable price and still be able to have the nicer things. And you wouldn't be able to tell by looking at my jacket that I got it secondhand. If it's beat up, it's because I beat it up, not because it came that way.
I hire a nanny once a week because frugality isn't about deprivation and not being able to enjoy luxuries that add value to your life. I budget for a nanny because I value being able to have time for myself, to focus on my passion projects, and it's within our means.
But hiring a nanny or a babysitter, as long as it's within budget, that's really the key, right? The problem is when you burn yourself out so much and then you impulse on having like a date night or having a babysitter or something and it wasn't within the budget. If it's in the budget and the maths, I don't see anything wrong with having a nanny.
A comment that caught me off guard was buying clearance and how by me taking advantage of clearance, I could be taking away from someone else who really needs it. And while I understand their sentiment, having wealth doesn't disqualify you for using smart money habits still. Being frugal.
I don't know that I've ever heard that argument. First of all, I don't think that there's that many people shopping clearance, genuinely. If we're just talking food, which is what she was showing here, and I've seen those reduced stickers. It looks like a Fred Meyer. I used to shop at one of those. And so much food goes into the garbage. Let's say it really was a matter of the lady behind me getting it or me getting it, and she looks like she needs it more than me, then I can understand that. That's not really what's being said. They're saying that her actively purchasing it is keeping someone else from doing it. But there's no guarantee that anyone is coming behind this woman and buying it. And there's a solid chance that it's going to go to the waste. And I don't really understand that logic unless there's literal physical person trying to grab it from me and it seems like they need it more than me. I don't get it. Okay, maybe she shouldn't stand in line at a food bank if she's doing okay financially. If she says frugal millionaire. It would be weird if she was going to a food bank because that's obviously designed and there's like they might actually run out of the food, but a clearance item at a grocery store, there's no guarantee that that's going to get bought and it might get thrown away. It's the same with things that are not food items, but I guess they're less likely to get thrown away. But I've worked in retail and there's so much waste and there's so many things that do get thrown away, and after so long they do get thrown away. So would I rather it go to landfill and I didn't buy it and I had to spend more money at this store and nobody actually saved the money and it just went into landfill? I don't think I'd be happy with that either. So I think that that's a weird take.
And while I understand their sentiment, having wealth doesn't disqualify you for using smart money habits still. Being frugal and shopping clearance and saving money is exactly how we got here in the first place. And
well, and that's the other thing too. So, and I like that point that she made. You were able to build wealth by making these decisions. So what, as soon as you've hit a certain landmark, now you're just going to spend like crazy? That doesn't make any sense to me. My husband and I have been a single car family for a very long time, and that enabled us to save a lot of money in the long run. Because we saved all that money, we now turn around and buy a brand new car, and now we have a car payment because we've been saving for so long. That's a lifestyle creep. And then the potential of something happening to our income, and then we have less money than we did before, and then now we're in a situation where we're overextended instead of living within our means. I don't really understand that. Just because you have the money doesn't mean that you have to spend it. And I think that that's something that people get caught up in. Because your bank account looks a certain way, you should spend a certain way. And there is no right or wrong way to spend your money. If you like having nicer things and you don't like having to look for deals, and you want to just go to a store and grab something straight off the shelf, and that's how you choose to spend your money, that's how you choose to spend your money. If I'm going to the same store and I'm looking at the clearance side of the racks before I go to the regular priced areas, even though I have the same amount of money in my bank account and we have the same, like, if everything was exactly the same and we had the same kids, same rent, same everything, and I could go to the clearance rack before I start, and you don't do that. Neither one of those are right or wrong. I don't get why people have such an opinion. If I want to save my money and I want to live below my means, you don't know if I'm saving up for something or paying off a debt, or I mean, she's a millionaire, so that's not her issue. But you don't know what's happening to the person next to you.
How much I take, that way I'm not hoarding everything and I leave some for others. And similarly, participating in my local Buy Nothing group. This comes down again to that sentiment of taking from others who really need it. I give
Again, if I'm not taking it, there's not a guarantee that thing is going to get taken. If someone's putting something on a Buy Nothing group or on the curb and they're getting rid of it. I'm on a military base, so people put stuff on the curb all the time, and it's not like garbage. It's just they don't want to take the time to sell it or take it to the thrift store. There's a solid chance that's just going to go to landfill if I don't take it. So if it's something that I'm looking for that I need, why do I have to go to a company, give them my hard-earned money, and profit for them, and then that same item on the curb or on this Buy Nothing group goes to landfill because that person is tired of trying to get rid of it and no one's coming to get it because everyone feels like they're taking from someone else's mouth, then we're just perpetuating the issue. Why do we need to make these companies so much money? That doesn't make any sense to me.
Here we go, now what? Nothing wrong with me.
I tried melting crayons into bigger crayons, and I don't know if I just did it wrong. I tried to melt them into like a longer crayon shape, and they just broke. And I don't know if I just had a really bad mold or what. Like maybe I need to do more like a puck shape. I didn't find that to be successful.
Nothing wrong with me.
I do that, but that's mostly because my kids won't let me throw them away. I am a little bit of a minimalist. I'm not a good minimalist, but I do try really hard to keep clutter down. But like my kids' example right here, sitting right here, my kids won't let me get rid of this thing. I use it now to water my plants, but I've tried to throw this away so many times. And every time they like pull it out of the garbage. I need to like sneak it into the recycling or the garbage like before it comes time. But we've had that for like 4 years.
Nothing wrong with me.
Leftovers, and I don't know exactly what she was freezing there. That's an interesting concept.
$25 a week on groceries, that's absurd. What the fuck are y'all buying? One human needs 21 meals in 7 days. When we grocery shop, we are trying to get 21 meals. For breakfast, we're having oatmeal. There's 8 in here, so you have 1 extra breakfast. If you don't like oatmeal, any of the great value cereals, doesn't matter what flavor, same price.
I do oatmeal every day for my kids. I am not one person. I am a household of people. I prefer steel cut oats. I'll buy a 50-pound bag of steel cut oats, and that lasts me about 2 months, and we do it every day. I try to put in other breakfasts at other times, but the majority of the time they are having oats, and I will change it up. I'll put pears, apples, blueberries, flax seeds, chia seeds. Sometimes I'll put some cashews or something. I'm changing the texture and the flavor of it. I'll do maple syrup or brown sugar, or I change what I put in there. There's many ways that you could do it differently, and I try to change it up so that they don't get too bored. But this is a fabulous idea for just one person. For one person, I mean, you don't want to make a whole pot for just you. But since I have the 3 kids and me, and my husband sometimes eats breakfast, I find that making a big pot from a bulk bag is less expensive. or the same expensive, but it's fresher ingredients, if that makes sense.
To go with that, we are getting 1 gallon of milk. It doesn't matter what kind of milk you get, just needs to be the store brand. Our protein this week is...
Don't really drink milk. I drink it in my coffee. The kids like to drink it. We do soy milk. There is no store brand for that where we're at, but it is relatively affordable, so.
Going to be a 5-pound bag of chicken. I have said exact bag of chicken right here, and I'm going to show you how to prepare it in multiple ways. You don't need to just prepare it in one way.
I don't know how much that chicken was. I do beans mostly. We are vegetarian. My kids eat, if we're going out to eat or at a drive-thru, they are allowed to pick whatever they want. But as far as like what I cook, I don't like to handle meat, and I don't like the idea of eating meat, so I don't personally serve meat. If they want to eat meat when we go out or when we're at someone's house, I don't stop them. They have their own opinions and their own choices as far as that goes.
To go with...
But I do find that beans can be really affordable as well, especially if you're able to do dry beans. If you can do dry beans in a crock pot and then put it in your fridge in jars and then use them like canned beans, like if you can project out a couple days out what sorts of meals you're going to use, that's what I try to do.
Chicken. You're going to pick up 3 boxes of great value mac and cheese. You can get whatever flavor you want, just needs to be the store brand, and a bag of rice.
I also do my own mac and cheese. We do a box of macaroni, which is about $1. Yeah, I think it's $1.04. And then I'll already have cheese for many other things. So I just use the cheese also along with milk and butter and stuff.
So store brand.
That's how I do it.
3 packages. I put chicken ramen because we're going to use it with chicken, but you can get whatever flavor you want.
That's smart. I do that as well. I mix in like frozen mixed veggies in mine. So I have like peas, carrots, and whatever, and then I'll mix it in there. And that is also a cheat meal that we do, not the chicken. We'll add in beans and, other types of proteins in there.
1 bag of potatoes. I also picked up
Potatoes are good.
a loaf of bread, white bread. You can get wheat, same price.
That bread price is awesome. Maybe I need to check my local Walmart. Bread on the military base we're at pushes around $3 for like the same type. Like I think it's like $2.80 for like Wonder Bread, like the cheapest bread that they have. Maybe it would be worth taking a trip into town because I freeze bread. I'll get like a large amount. If I were able to find a price like that, I would buy at least 10 to 15 loaves because I have a deep freezer and I mostly use it for breads and things like that when I can find a sale.
I did include snacks. 7 bananas, okay?
Bananas and apples. Apples are not as cheap as bananas, but my kids have kind of like pulled away from bananas. I can't get them to eat them anymore. I like bananas, and I like to sometimes I'll put that in their oats.
On my shopping list, I put broccoli in the cart, but you can get any of the great value vegetables.
Oh, there. See, the frozen mixed veggies they have right there, that's what I put in my ramen, along with whatever extra protein that I'll add in.
Whatever floats your boat if you don't like broccoli.
And I do the corn and broccoli as well. I'll put broccoli in my mac and cheese. My youngest kind of hates it, but...
All of these ingredients combined makes $22.80.
That's pretty cool. I'd have to do my own budget to see what mine would come out to, but I've done most of these when we have a really tight month, or if like we go out to eat a lot at the beginning of the month and then toward the end of the month things are getting tight. These are the sort of things that I would make too.
With that budget, we're gonna have oatmeal and or cereal, same price, whichever one you want, with the milk for breakfast. All 7 of...
Oh, and the milk is for breakfast. Since I don't use it for breakfast, it just drinks. I could really just cut it out as well. I should do one of these and go over how much I would actually spend on a meal.
Of your breakfasts, unfortunately, you're poor. For lunch and for dinner, for your other 14 meals, we are going to make the chicken in so many different ways and combinations of the rice, vegetable, potato, and the mac and cheese. What we're going to do is, A, we're going to invest in some seasoning. B, all of you guys have a condiment drawer. We're in our
I do that. So if I go to like Taco Bell or something and they give me too many, I actually have a spot where I keep the extras. It isn't that I don't have condiments, but it is nice sometimes to just have a certain flavor profile I'm looking for and then just be able to in a bunch of packets or send it to landfill. Those are the options, right? So they already put it in my bag. They can't take it back.
Next video, I'm going to show you what to do with that condiment drawer to make your chicken many different ways so you don't get bored of it. But you can have chicken ramen with the ramens. You can have barbecue chicken and some mac and cheese. You can have a baked potato.
Oh, and I've done barbecue like tofus and stuff in tempeh. I do it kind of similar, and tempeh is a little more expensive than tofu, but I find that the texture is better, and it gives a more, it's not chicken, but it gives a more dense texture, and it actually has like something to chew. Sometimes tofu can be spongy. I don't mind it, but sometimes you want something a little more textured.
Potato with your chicken. You can have a fried potato, mashed potato.
So many potatoes.
The vegetable, you can eat it whenever you want. The snack is going to be a banana every day. If you really want to get under 20, you could cut the bananas out. You'd be almost just about $20. And just because I know somebody's going to ask, why do all of them say $29.79 at the bottom? It's because I did it on the Walmart app, so it's saying that it's going to charge me shipping, but I didn't buy any of this on the app. I went to the store, but it's the same price at the store.
I leave my receipts in the cart, so if a person needs food, they can go grab food with my receipt.
What? Wait, what? How does that... I don't understand that. So they would take the receipt and then go get those items and walk out as if they bought them? I don't know. I don't like that. I understand the sentiment and I think it's sweet, but I don't think that the people that are actually doing that are the people she thinks she's helping. Or him, them, this person.
So I'm moving tomorrow and the movers want to be paid in cash, and I haven't worked in a while, and this is the only cash I have right now because I usually put my big bills in the bank. So we're just gonna go to the bank and cash.
Okay, as a ex-waitress and bartender, I could see how this would accumulate, especially when I use cash envelopes more often. I will accumulate a lot of dollars. I have a something that I do with them. I send out like birthday cards with my singles because it's kind of fun to get like a chunk of singles for your birthday. Thing I would say is that this looks like a few $100s, and it could easily be like $1,000. And depending on how long it took for her to accumulate these, she could have been earning interest in a high yield savings account. Mine earns me 3.5%. Last month on the money that I had, I earned like $11. And so if it's close to what I would have in my bank account, which she said it's for movers, I would assume it's about that much. She could have been making more money instead of just holding that. Good for her for not needing to use credit. It's not what I would do because I have learned about high yield savings accounts and stuff. I have saved this kind of actual cash on hand before, so I can't say that I'd never do it. I just don't do that now.
These ones.
Oh, she's getting...
You know, one thing I like about living in Vegas, coming from a smaller...
Yeah, see, there's at least a couple thousand there. She could earn pretty good interest if that was sitting in a high yield savings account or even a money market or something, but it definitely a high yield savings account at the very least. Because I don't know how long it took her to accumulate that, but if it was more than a couple months, she could have earned, like if she had that for a year, she potentially could have earned another $100 just in interest.
Is that there's so many sex workers here that everyone knows someone who's danced or done corn or whatever, and it's just way more normal out here. Like in California, almost every time I went to the bank, the teller would give me problems. Like they would either be rude or like flat out refuse to help me.
I think that's illegal. They have to accept tender. I'm fairly certain they're not allowed to do that. Like, that's the whole point of the dollars. They're not allowed to turn you down, turn your business away. Maybe it's because they'd just be exchanging the money, but if it's her bank, especially, I don't think they're allowed to do that.
And out here, it just seems like the bankers and the real estate agents, like, everyone knows, like, not to ask girls what they do for work. Or if they do ask, and I say, you know, entertainment, then they just leave it at that. And I don't know, it just feels like way safer out here, but, yeah.
Oh, it sounds like she might be a dancer. It doesn't really matter. I don't really care how she got the money. I still think that she could be earning interest on it. That's all. It just opens you up for risk is all. Number one, you're not earning interest, so your money isn't keeping up with inflation. But then also, you have the risk of someone could come into your house. But if she's a dancer, I don't know how fast that money accumulates. I never made like a lot of tips all in one night because I would work at like country clubs and golf centers and stuff. So I didn't have a high volume of people. So my assumption is that amount of tips would take me a few months to get. My understanding is that they make about that much money in a short amount of time. I don't have any experience with it personally. The one that I know specifically, she is like in competitions and stuff. So she's a high level dancer. So I mean, she could have earned that in just a weekend or something. Honestly, it's if I were coordinated and not a mom of 3 and almost 40, however she got it, I would still say that if she has that kind of money on her for more than a couple months, a high yield savings account would still be my recommendation.
Frugal things I don't do as a frugal living expert that you probably thought I do. I don't own a clothesline and I use the dryer even when it's nice out.
I do use a clothesline, but I live in Southern California, so it's really hot and it actually helps with my plants to have the extra humidity. So I don't want to buy a dryer.
I buy paper towels because for us, they're so cheap at wholesale clubs.
I don't use paper towels. If I have like a birthday party or something that I'm hosting, I'll buy some napkins and paper towels. And then usually the napkins I keep aside for when I have another party because I buy the same brand every time. That way it's not like a matter of having mismatched napkins. As far as paper towels, I really don't do that. I just have rags.
I tried making my own homemade laundry detergent and no.
I can't. I was never able to do that either. And I was always concerned too that I was going to do the thing where you can ruin your wash machine by having like the powders and stuff. And genuinely, there are some like decent laundry detergents that you can get that are not that expensive. I didn't find it to like save me a ton of money. It saves me money, but it doesn't save me a ton. Yeah, I don't make my own either. I don't blame her for this one. It's not easy to do. Well, it might be easy to do, but I just don't find that the juice is worth the squeeze.
I'd rather coupon and get these super cheap.
One of my favorite money saving hacks is to let things run out. So let's use this as an example, okay? We have Nesquik. I buy this from Costco and it is almost gone. Right? There's a few cups left in there, like to make. But the thing is I'm going to Costco tomorrow. And you might be thinking, well, you should buy this. You're almost out. But I'm not going to. The thing is, if I let this run out and I don't buy it tomorrow, I don't buy it until I go to Costco again in April. So in a month, let's say I buy these every 3 months, I'm going to only end up buying, 3 a year instead of 4 or 5. And
I don't disagree with this for specifically what she's talking about. If you're talking about like fun items like ice cream or chocolate milk or things that are more luxury sodas, then yes. If you're talking about something that like apples for my kids, if I know I'm running out of apples, I need to get more apples. Like it's not optional for me. I have to do that. So I see what she's saying as far as for like fun things or things that are not necessary for the daily diet, but as far as like the stuff that you actually need and eat on a regular basis, I feel like you should replace them when they're getting low, because then you could hit the issue of you go to reach for the thing that you're always cooking, like noodles, and you don't have that, and you're a lot more likely to be impulsive. Like, crap, that's what I wanted to make for dinner because it's easy. Oh, I don't have that now. What am I going to make? And then you're more likely to pick up the phone and call for pizza. Not saying that that's how I function. I don't know how this person functions.
this obviously isn't going to work for everything, right? So like coffee creamer, don't let yourself run out of coffee creamer because you're probably just going to be going to the coffee shop if that happens, right? There are certain things that if you let run out in your house, then you're just going to spend more because you're going to go buy it somewhere else. That's not really what I'm talking about. I'm talking about snacky.
Especially if it's things like that you're going to need bread. Like I was saying earlier, I'm going to buy that in bulk when I find it cheap. And I really try not to if I know that I'm running low on bread, I'll be keeping an eye out for a couple weeks, couple grocery trips, and see if I can happen upon a deal, or if I'm out at a grocery store I don't normally go to because apparently the bread here in my commissary is just expensive. If I can keep an eye out when I'm out in town for bread deals, then I'll buy more, and I try not to ever let myself get low on it. That way I'm not having to spend the $3 per loaf that I do when I'm shopping on base.
Things I even do this with my own like snacks and food. Like sure, there's something I prefer, but there's also something in my cupboard that I bought a while ago that I haven't eaten. I need to eat that. So let's like run this whole thing out, eat that, and then you can buy more of what you actually want. It has to be food. I do this with like lotion products and stuff that I buy. I'll have a favorite, but once it runs out, I'm like, no, I need to use that like
yeah. So like if I have a fancy lotion or a specific thing that I've been liking lately, but it's not necessary. Like, obviously, I'm going to keep my toothpaste full, but that special mouthwash, if I already have a mouthwash sitting in my cabinet, I'm not going to go buy my favorite until I've run out of all of my mouthwashes. That's a frugal thing, but it's also a minimalist thing. Like, you think about how many, like, partial bottles you'll see in people's houses because they've decided that they like this new one better, but they never get rid of the partial, right?
Gold bond that I bought that I thought was going to be great. I need to use that all up, and then I can let myself buy another one. Again, I don't do this with everything, right? Like I don't let myself run out of toothpaste and be like, oh, I'll buy it next month. We just won't have toothpaste. Like, no, obviously, like I keep toothpaste in the house. It is a good hack for something. So let things run all the way out of your house before you buy them. Even if they're on sale, like even if
luxury, specialty, non-essential items. Yes. Or like, let's say that you are a paper towel type person and you're running low, but you don't need to go to the grocery store. Don't make a special trip for paper towels if you have rags. Like, it's an essential item, but you can get away without it, you know?
You go to the store one day and they're on sale and you're like, oh, I buy that thing. I should buy it now because it's on sale. I would say don't. I would say let it run out. Wait a few weeks. Use up what you have.
Unless it's an essential item, if it's something you know that you use and not that you know that you want to use, like you know you need to use it, and it's on sale, I say buy it. If it's something extra like Oreos, then no.
In your house. Let it run out. Don't buy it, even if it's on sale.
As a frugal queen, I might surprise you with my very favorite frugal hack. It's not thrifting, it's not making your own food, it's not budgeting. Although, these are all amazing things I cannot recommend enough. But no, it's living by the phrase, the universe provides. Wait long enough and you will find it. Or you realize you don't actually need it. But I cannot tell you the amount of times I've wanted something specific and almost bought it, but then I remember my phrase. After a while, sometimes it's like literally hours. Most of the time it's days, sometimes weeks, or even years.
I actually have an example of this. Right back there, there's this cube thing that I got for my yarn. I used to keep them in cardboard boxes that I nailed to the walls, like my own makeshift cubes, because honestly, I need to be able to see the colors in order to know what palette I'm going to use, and I need to see what colors I have available, and I don't want to be digging through boxes and bags and stuff, right? So I had them organized. Actually, I still have some in a cardboard box that I've nailed up on the wall, right? And that cube shelf went on sale. It was like $20. Someone was getting rid of it, and it's in perfectly good shape. They're just in the middle of a move. And I've been crocheting and stuff for months now, and I've had a yarn in cardboard boxes for that same amount of time. But I knew that I didn't need it so bad that it was going to impact my ability to crochet things. I just knew that it would be more convenient if I had it like that, and it would look nicer. But I'm not going to go buy a new one because people are getting rid of those sort of things all the time. You just have to wait. Now, there are some things, like I've been wanting a pair of Birkenstocks for a while. I got a cork pair of shoes when I was in Thailand, and I've been wanting them, and I've been trying to keep an eye out for a secondhand pair in person or even on like ThreadUp or whatever, and they're not coming up. But I've been saving up for them, and so in the time that I've been saving up for them, if they show up and I could get them cheaper, then good. If they don't, then I'll have the money eventually.
I will find it on the side of the street or on the Buy Nothing group on Facebook, or a friend will ask me if I want it before they toss it. It's either this or I wait long enough and realize I don't want it anymore. But
yes, that's true. And there's been many things where I'm like, I really want that thing and I almost bought it. And then I realized that it really doesn't align with, it aligned with where my head was at that time, but that wasn't actually a long-term mindset that I was in. Yeah, my ADHD impulsivity is pretty bad. So anytime that I could do this sort of thing to help myself.
Either way, it has saved me thousands of dollars. It's seriously a part of my personality now. Like, it's a game to me. But now I'm curious if this is more the way that you live, or are you too impulsive?
And that's going to be the end of that. I appreciate you staying here to the end if you did. This is also my first reaction video, so I don't know if I've done it right or if my audio is going to be weird, but I appreciate you being here and listening to me talk about my frugality and commenting on other people's frugality. Put down any tips or things that you do. I'm curious because I feel like everyone does something, but I don't feel like any two people do frugal the same. New people becoming frugal, they have more creative ideas because they're coming at it from a fresh perspective. And so I really appreciate having more innovative ideas, things that haven't already been thought of. Lots of times it's about the same stuff. Sometimes it isn't. So anyway, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.